Welcome to Beyond Marketing, the podcast. I'm Maira Genovese. I'm the founder and CEO of MG Empower, a global integrated market agency. Today, I'm thrilled to have Eduardo Maruri with us. He's a creative powerhouse with over 160 Cannes Lions under his belt. Yes, this is true. But Eduardo's journey goes far beyond advertising, from running from Congress in Ecuador to leading a football club. His story is a testament to resilience, creativity, and passion. We will explore his career, uncover the secrets to award-winning success, and discuss the future of creativity in the era of AI. So welcome to Beyond Marketing, the podcast.
Hi, Maira. I love introduction.
Thank you so
So
much,
good.
but it's very well deserved.
Yeah,
It's
thank you.
just like you have accomplished so much. That's one of the, most exciting things to have you here now, because I know you for what, about a year now?
Yeah, about a year now. Yeah.
Oh my God, time goes.
Yeah, about a
Yes.
year. Yeah, you can. Yeah, I think July, August last year.
July, yes. So
Yeah,
I
1 year.
know a little bit about your story, and I'm a big fan of everything you have accomplished to date. And I think there's so much for us to uncover for your story. But before, I want to introduce yourself to the audience. And who is Eduardo Maruri?
Okay. Well, I think the introduction was good enough. Not much to add, but I'm currently the founder and creative chairman of Maruri, the agency that I founded 30 years ago or more. And I will define myself as a creative leader. That's what I am, right? I've been in many lives, politics, sports, but I think right now what I define myself as a creative leader.
Do you not like? I know there is, part of your story is your daddy. I think your father that started in advertising. Tell us a little bit more about like how you started your career in creative, because it's so amazing that there is a pattern of
Yeah.
history of your family,
So,
especially your
so
father.
in the early 90s, I was a client. I was the marketing manager of Gillette, and my agency was McCann Erickson. And my father was the president of McCann Erickson in Ecuador, where we're from. So I kind of saw the opportunity to create something unique. So I told my father, you know what, maybe you should quit McCann Erickson. I should quit Maruri. I should quit Gillette and create Maruri agency. At the beginning, he wasn't so sure, but he saw me, I was convinced. So I went first. I said, I quit. I had a great job. I was very young. And I said, let's do it. And then my father saw my determination. I said, okay, I'll join you. So that's how we started. But sadly, after only less than a year, he got sick. He got cancer and he couldn't go back to work. So I was like 25, 24. I was already running the agency with 40 people and just trying to learn as it goes. But it went very well. It went very well and became quickly the fastest growing and the most creative agency in the country for many years. So it went well.
And what is this like your creative, let's say, how did you start to become that creative person? Is there anything related to your childhood, or how did creative become such a passion of yours?
It's a good question because I think it evolved in time. At the beginning, when I was running the agency, I was just doing everything. I was doing accounts, strategy, just doing everything, right? So but I was always more inclined to work on the creative. It's the part that I enjoy the most, right? But I think it came back also from my mom. My mom loved music, writing. He's like a kind of a frustrated writer. My dad was also a musician. He played the violin. So we were exposed always to art, music since we were very young. So I guess it's a combination. Even though my education was very, like economics, business, I didn't have a career in the arts or creativity. But so I was at these two things, like my passion for music and literature, but also the business side. So I guess the combination now put into business what made me, go into the creative aspect of the business.
I'm asking you because a lot of people like wonder like how a creative become a creative, right? So because it's a skill, but it's a talent. So my interest was asking because, like everyone wants to know, how can I be a good creative? or how can I start a career in creative? But I think creative, it's not something that you teach, right? So it's
I'll
something
give you my hypothesis, no, and this is not mine. I stole it from a guy called Rick Rubin, who wrote the book
I love him, by the way.
The Act of Creativity, the creative act. And what he says is that we all humans have an antenna that captures ideas from the universe, right? And what makes the difference between a good creative or not is how strong your antenna is. If your antenna is strong, it will capture more ideas that come into you. So the difference is how do you make your antenna more powerful, right? To capture more and better ideas. And that's when you go, because we all have it. There's no difference. You can be, everyone has an antenna. But if you train your antenna, and that means reading, traveling, exposing information that you're not usually exposed, culture, music, anything, nature is a great, and then the antenna is more powerful. So you have to feed information, and then it will attract more ideas, right? And then, so that's what I learned quickly, that the more people that are more creative are more cultured. They're always reading, always exposing themselves, putting
Curious.
Yeah, it's about feeding information and trusting that at some point two information that you have will connect. But you have to need information in your brain, right? So and then the creativity is connecting two things that nobody else connected at some point, but you need to have information.
And when you start realize that you're a good creative, is there any turning point in your career that you did something and you're like, whoa?
Yeah, I think it was in 2012 when I officially took the role of Chief Creative Officer of Maruri. Before that, I was the president and I had creative leaders. I was also involved, but I didn't have the title.
Okay.
Right? And then when I say, no, I'm going to assume this, and the first year I assumed, we win the first gold lion for the country. So it was the same time when I think, oh, I can do this, because the country had never won a lion, and the first year I assumed the role, we win a gold lion. So I said, okay, maybe I'm good on this, right? And then my career took off, But it was in 2012 when I realized that my first idea as a creative won the gold lion. I said, okay, there's something here.
Do you remember what was your first idea?
Of course, I remember. It was about the government of Ecuador. It was about how do we keep the oil in the soil. There was this idea about not taking the oil out, as countries to pay Ecuador not to take the oil.
Wow.
So instead
not even an easy creative,
No. It wasn't like a radio thing.
Yes.
It was like a deep, and that shaped kind of the ideas that I usually work on. My ideas are not, I'm not a particularly good writer. I don't know art. I'm not an art director. I guess my creativity is more on solutions, business solutions, ideas that are different, but not necessarily like classic advertising. I never wanted a TV ad or radio. I mean, I wanted radio, but different. I'm not like a classic
creative
advertising creative.
And then this was your first idea. Then you said that you won Cannes Lions, and then you identify, okay, maybe I'm good on that. Yeah. So how the path evolved from that? Because you became this powerhouse.
So I also understood that to give value to my company, my agency, I had to build the creative reputation, right? So I always have this very simple hypothesis in our business. If you build reputation, and money will always follow, right? So I understood that the strategy for my company was to build the creative reputation of Maruri. So I doubled down on winning lions, doubled down on doing amazing work, on doing work that stands out of the market. And then in the following 5 years, 13, 14, 16, we won 40 lions, right? 40. And then WPP came and said, we want to buy your company, right? So it actually created actual value for my company. My company was worth this, and after 40 lions, it was worth this. So for me, it became the strategy, and I became the focus on doing that for 5-6 years, like solely focus on that.
But we pause on that PP first, because there's a lot I wanted to, to uncover there. Yeah, so you saw that creativity was something that you wanted to invest, because there's the credibility, which I think we are both very aligned, the importance of that credibility. And credibility can be your personal brand, but also the brand of your company. But one thing is to understand that. Another thing is to win that, right? Because there's a lot of agencies out there that know that Cannes Lions to win a Cannes Lions can take your agents, your brand, your whatever service they offer, and that can go to Cannes Lions to a new, to a new level, to a new possibilities. But it's not everyone that can do that,
In
right?
fact,
So
only,
you have
only 3%
exactly
win Lions.
And then-
97% don't win Lions.
And by now, how many you have on your?
I have 160 Cannes Lion awards.
So who has 106 Cannes Lions? It's
Not a lot of people.
not a lot of people. So is that any? Because I would assume that is a combination of a good creative, a good strategy. What else? What does it take to be in that position? Because you are the 3%, and it's 160 Cannes Lions. It's something that is exceptional. Is a phenomenal.
So I think there's one. I mean, first of all, I spend a lot of time understanding, reading, and understanding the process, the Cannes Lion process itself, understanding the categories, subcategories. So I know by heart, not by heart, but a lot of, what are the subcategories? Because Cannes Lions is not a submission is a whole strategy.
It's the whole strategy, yeah.
So it's three things. Right? First, identify the idea, right? That's not step number one. So you have to have an eye to see this can win, this cannot win, right? And not every good idea can win in Cannes, right? It's different. Cannes because it has to be universal. It has to be something that a guy from Philippines or Singapore or Guatemala can understand because it's global.
It's a global. So it cannot just fit one box.
Exactly. So that's number one. It has to be simple enough to get it. And then you have the idea, right? That's the number one. Second, the execution of the idea has to be a kind of standards, right? How you execute the idea. Then the results. And when you have all of that, it's like, how do you present it in a way that is compelling? The case video, right? And you have to know how to do case videos. So you have an idea, but if you don't tell the story in the right way, you lose.
You lose it.
There's a lot of steps, right? Identify the idea, execute it correctly, get the results, then present a proper case video that is compelling, exciting, good craft, and then submission, right? Because you can have all of these, but if you should meet the wrong category or they should meet the wrong way, you lose.
Then it's lose.
So it's so many steps, and a lot of people either fail in one of these steps, right? The wrong case video, the wrong submission, the wrong execution, or the wrong idea. And then once you submit, you also have to be prepared to discuss and to defend your idea if a jury calls you or kind of PR your idea as well, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of steps. That's why it's so complicated, right? But once you get familiar with it and you understand all the steps of the process, then you play the odd game, right? So I guess my percentage is not 3%. My percentage is probably 15%. Still, not everything I submit.
Yes, exactly.
Not everything I submit wins, right? But you play the numbers game too, right? So you have to invest a lot of money too. That's the other thing. It's expensive.
It is expensive, but it's not every client briefing that can be a Cannes Lions
No,
right? So how do you identify when you're receiving a briefing from a client and you're reading it and you go like, okay, this has a potential to be a Cannes Lions submission, let's say. So what do you see in a briefing that sparkle your eyes and you go like, oh my God, this has a potential in here?
First of all, the client, right? Cannes Lions are usually given to good brands, to big brands, right? Because the jury understands that it's not the same to sell an idea to Unilever or Coca-Cola than to sell an idea to the English language academy in a small town in Brazil.
Yeah.
So
completely different.
Different, right? Or an NGO.
Yeah.
Right? So if you have the brand, that's the first step. Okay, good brand, good. Then not every brief has the potential to do good activities. If only a really technical thing, you're not going to do it. But if it's a campaign that you know is going to get PR, and you know it's going to get, maybe has some social component with a good brand, that's a good territory.
That's a good
territory to be, right? And then the other thing is about the process, right? So every agency that is good has a process of selecting the right ideas, right? It's somebody called a council, creative council, a scale of creativity. It's many different shapes or forms. But if you are a good agency that wants to be in Cannes, you need a process. What's your process to elevate those ideas? Because maybe the idea that creative came originally is not exactly the point, but in conversation with more people, it gets to that point, right? So you need to have that space where ideas elevate, right? And get to the point where it's a winning idea for the client or for the agency, right? It's results and awards.
And the awards, both.
But that usually doesn't come like the first. It comes with a conversation, with a strategy, with the account, with the client. I mean, you need to create a space to have those conversations.
To have this conversation. And then from there, then we go back to WPP. So you created that, momentum, you got the awards, and then of course you start, probably big companies like WPP start wondering, who is that guy?
Who's that guy winning license in Ecuador?
In Ecuador.
Exactly.
Did you know before WPP approached you that your agency was being seen by global groups? Or was it totally surprise for you?
No,
you knew.
I know.
Strategically,
I was planning for that.
You're planning. So
I knew I wanted to sell.
So it's something consciously.
It was consciously putting myself, like dressing the bride, right? I was making it beautiful for someone to come and offer her hand. But I knew that was my plan the whole time because I wanted to get out of Ecuador, personally.
Okay, so there was a personal plan
to get out of Ecuador and sell and cash in and get out of Ecuador. And that was my way out.
And you were targeting companies or?
Well, we were affiliated to Gray.
Okay.
So that was
Gray was already part of that.
Exactly. So there was the original. So they got to know me because the last few years I was very active in the Gray Creative Global Council. So we developed a personal relationship. The CEO got to know me better. So it was the natural buyer.
So you sold to WPP and then you managed to get out of Ecuador.
Exactly.
And then you sold 100%.
90%.
And then you kept 10%. We're gonna talk a little bit about acquisitions M&A because we have the same journey. And now with experience, I'm sure you probably have, a small agency or a startup that comes to you and say, what is the best thing to do here? Yeah. Is an angel investor? Is selling? Is this, what is the path for to get it there eventually to sell or to get an investor? I'm not sure about you, but I had so many learnings today.
Me too.
So if we could go back, because you bought it back.
Yeah, so did you.
Yes, and I think we both bought it back in the same year.
Yep.
And it's crazy to think because we both sold for big corporations, not that we sold for a company around the corner and random guy. No, you sold to WPP, and I sold to a big biotechnology company from California. So it's not that we did wrong decisions of choosing, but we decided to buy back, and I think probably is that people were curious, like if we sold, why did we buy back? So why did you buy it back?
Different reasons. I will tell you the emotional reason. When I saw where the company was going, where the company was heading, I didn't like the future. And my name was still on the door. It was called Maruri. So it's like, okay, I don't own that brand anymore. It's not my company, but I don't like where it's going. So I have an emotional connection with that company, which was my baby since the 90s, right? The way I found it with my dad. When my dad passed away, founded my family, my kids, everything, right? So it was like the center of a family for many years. And then, of course, I went to London, I went to all over the world, and then I was just having an eye, but I didn't like where it was going heading. The culture wasn't there anymore. The creative ambition wasn't there anymore. The growth wasn't there anymore. It was controlled by CFOs, by all numbers, and I said, that's not the company that but I could have said, fine, that's not my problem anymore. I already sold it, right?
Sold it, yeah.
But that was the first reason, the emotional reason. Is I don't want where it's going. I want to control. I don't want my legacy to end that way. Number one. The second was a business opportunity. Because by the same reason why the company was going down or wasn't going the right direction, I knew that if I go back, it will go back again. So maybe it will have value again, right? But this time, I knew that I didn't have to be fenced by Ecuador only. Because before it was part of Gray, so I could open Colombia, Brazil, or United States. Now I say like the opportunity is much bigger to capitalize my experience. Now I've been out of Ecuador for 8 years. I've networked, I've different reputation. How can I capitalize that and not only avoid Maruri going down, how do I make it as big as possible, right? So there's a combination of emotional, circumstantial, that I was ready to go back, and also business opportunity, right? So it's a combination of the three things. And also, but because of the people that was there, the people that were there, I knew that eventually they will lose their jobs, eventually they will, and I wanted to, when I came back, people saw like the founder came back, right? So it was kind of a rescue. Also.
Rescued, yeah. It's good that you talk about emotional connection, because like one of the reasons, of course, that I brought it back, there's emotional and there's people, because the same as you, my name was by the door, and then once your name is by the door, it's a whole different, game, because it's your name and there's nothing you can change about it. So if it's go down, and your name goes down too, and then it's the mass becomes even bigger. When you sold to WPP, you were emotionally ready to sell.
Yes.
Because I was not.
You are not.
I was not. I had a panic attack. The moment I signed, I went through a 6 months of a very, 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 very tough path. Because I remember when I was signing, and then when I saw that I was 100%, okay, so this is not mine anymore, I was not emotionally prepared for that moment. So for 6 months, I had depression. I struggled a lot. And people could not understand. It's like, you just sold. You should be celebrating. But I was depressed. I went through a very
Really?
tough path.
So interesting.
Yeah. But then to buy back, was that the same? Was the emotional,
Yeah.
as emotional connection? And if you could go back to
I didn't
that-
have that, by the way.
Yeah, so
I was ready.
You were ready. No,
I was ready.
I was
I
definite.
got
It
the
is.
check and run. Like I say, fine. But also because my brother stayed there running the company.
Okay.
So it kind of had a little bit of a saying there, right? But I was so excited about what I was doing outside of Ecuador. The world opened up to me, right?
Up to
So
you,
it's like I
yeah.
didn't have time to think about it.
Yeah. If you could go back, because now you bought it back, and then now you're rebuilding again, and doing amazing things. Is there any learnings that you would, in the future, that you would,
I would do different.
that would do differently?
I would have sold 100%. I think it was a good decision to sell at that time.
Okay.
I have no regrets on that. Maybe I could have bought it a year earlier, or 2 years earlier. I waited a little bit, and I kind of stayed working for Gray maybe 1 year too much, and I could have started earlier to rebuild Maruri. But I also,
It is what it
is.
yeah,
But I think now maybe it took me too long to make that decision. But also the fact that the price that we offered was low compared to what they paid.
Yeah.
Of course, there was also negotiation, right? That went on for like almost a year. So I think it was the right decision. And the only regret maybe sooner.
Okay.
But we're fine.
And now that you're back in control, the way you built Maruri before you sold to WPP was based on that concept of creativity,
Yeah.
and then Cannes Lions, and then you sold, okay, job done, achieve it. I create that right that you said, it worked, I sold. Now you bought it back. Do you see that strategy that you had in the past to be applied nowadays when it comes to creative? Because there's a lot of change now happening in the world.
But they were there before, right? There was digital transformation. There was a lot of there will always be changes, right? And I think, but conceptually,
Yeah.
it's building reputation as the most. So my dream is to build the most creative agency in the world, independent, right? And when you say the most creative, means that somebody has to say it. Like it'd be #1 in Cannes, #1 in the world, #1 at age. I mean, like I have to actually have the title of the most creative agency in the world. And awards is a big part of it. It's not all of it.
100%.
It's a big
Yeah,
part, but
it's
it's
a big
talent.
part, yeah.
It's talent, awards, PR, day-to-day work, big clients. It's a lot of things, right? But I think now with AI, it doesn't matter. But it's still, strategically, it's a very simple model. If you build that, money will follow, right? So I'm obsessed with that, to build that creative reputation, have a very simple
Framework.
#1, the most creative agency in the world. boom, period. And I think, so it still works.
Yeah.
I think so.
And how do you blend that vision of you saying creative, but it still needed to be business oriented in terms of revenue, turnovers, and profitability?
While you search that, the only way to get to that point is to do good work for clients that solve their business problems, right?
Yeah.
If you don't do that, you can't go. You have to build a business. You have to build enough scale, and that's why you need offices, in big cities like New York or London to actually, build enough scale. So, but the mantra or the purpose is the same, right? Sometimes you'll do it with long format, short format, business solutions, tech, not tech, it doesn't matter. But I think, and a good example is companies like GOT or companies like Style like this, and they build a creative reputation and they sold for a lot of money, right? So it's like, I think the model still works. There's still space for, I was talking to Andrea before, I said like there's still clients that want to work with independent creative agencies.
Oh no, and I think nowadays more than ever.
More than ever.
I think nowadays more than ever. We're reading what's happening with WPP and then all the big agencies out there and all the change that's happening. I think now independent agencies, smaller boutique, they're having a big momentum right now because they can be more seen and more taken care.
More
and it is more agile, and then so there's
take
a
more
lot
risks.
Take more risk, yes, which is big corporations that sometimes is more of a challenge. Edu, the role of AI on creative, because it's a new whole world with this innovation of AI and a lot of talks about, AI can replace creativity now, AI can create content, and all this, headlines that we've been seeing and people talking. What is your view on that? So what is the role of AI in creativity? What can help and what is not going to be replaced?
I think it's fascinating for us to have that tool now. What it does today, 2025, it gives you the obvious, right? And it's good to have the obvious solutions in 5 minutes. So that's AI teaches you what not to do, right? So if they give me a campaign and it gives you a lot of ideas, those are the ideas that some agents were presenting before as their own ideas, right? By now, this is the linear concept of AI, which is very linear, gives you these solutions. Okay, this is what you don't want, but it gives you some material to start working. So it's it goes fast, because you can start right away with a good base of bad ideas that you can turn them into good ideas.
Yeah.
So for me, it's speeding things up so much, right? The creative process is getting shorter because you have AI to help you start. So for me, it's that one, fast. Everything will be faster. Second, as AI evolves, you're gonna need better pilots. So AI is like by having this amazing flying machine, right? But you need pilots. You need people to understand. For example, the new copywriters are the ones who can have better prompts. How do you ask the right question? And if you can change a comma, it changes completely the results. So you have to become experts on prompts, right? So that's a good pilot because they say, but AI is there.
Is that?
But who's driving it?
Yeah, because you have someone who be behind
and
driving it.
And then you have somebody who's perfect on prompts. Is a new copywriter. Then you have someone who's perfect in video. And video editing becomes a big thing, but you have to, this powerful machine, someone has to drive it, right? So it's better find the right pilots and make sure that all the technology that is there is to your benefit, right? So in time, people will become experts on the specific things,
So you think as more like as add value than replacement or...
A value, because at the end, there's a human who has to connect the things and present it to a client and say, this is what I think it is. If you present the AI ideas and today, it's just like, they're not great, but it's a good base. So I think it makes faster. It's faster.
And you guys are already using it internally?
100% for everything. For everything.
Cannes Lions this year, did they have some campaigns that was 100% made by AI or not? I didn't follow. I was
no. I think
a curiosity.
No, I think the production of the case videos maybe, right?
Okay.
But I don't think
No campaign that win based on.
not 100% developed.
Okay.
No, not yet. I don't think so.
And what's the role of creators, creativity, and AI? Because we saw at Ken Lions that now Ken Lions it's investing a lot on creators Lions or Lions creators.
Yeah.
And then the
The
traditional
new name for influencers.
yes,
like,
for influencers. How do you see that, movement around?
I think creators as well are like mini agencies, right?
Yeah.
So they will also become much efficient and faster in the way they produce content. Creators will adapt and will use AI for their ideas, right? So they're like, I think every creator is like a mini agency.
It's a mini agency, 100%.
So they have to also become like more efficient, faster, cheaper in production, in content development, in execution. They will have to make decisions because they are the ones posting, but I think they will become, and there will be also, what is happening with AI is that sadly, it's a race to the bottom in terms of prices.
So true.
That's a problem for us, right? That it's becoming cheaper and cheaper and cheaper because anyone can do things.
Anyone can do.
So okay, you want a manifesto video for the campaign before you pay $10,000. Now AI does it in 2 minutes. Mid-journey, boom. And we're charging, $10,000 for that video. Can't charge anymore.
Yes, you can't.
Because it's done with a prompt in 5 minutes, right? So you have to find creative ways to value our work and keep our revenue, right? Because what we used to charge before,
no longer being accepted.
So that's what the challenge is. It's in the economics, in the economics of production, and the economics of repetitive things that you were charging before.
Yes,
now you
can't. You can't.
So
Even like looking at big advertising campaigns on TV, it's just like, is this AI is changing the whole game. It's just like, we're never going to be doing TV ads as we used to be before, spending millions and millions at all.
No. But I guess the big idea, the idea that that's the one that you can charge. The idea that you come up with that is over here. Implementation, production, that money is going to go to the bottom.
To the bottom. Future of advertising, future of the creative. Where do you see this going?
The future of creativity, I think it's exciting. I think for me, I think I'm excited to see what's happening, because I think with AI coming into place, I think there will be a natural filter of mediocre creators.
It's true.
Because a mediocre creative is very similar to AI. So those mediocre creatives are going to be washed out of the market very quick. And the ones who will stay are the ones that are really good. A natural filter of the market,
yes,
where only the really good creators will stand. Before that, before AI, you present something,
and it will
average,
be like,
okay, cool,
that's good.
Average client, average creative, fine, done, right? Now,
that's not going to be it.
So I think it's going to be good if we stay on the side where we survive, not in the side where you get washed out by average.
So you're more positive.
I'm more positive.
That's good.
I'm more positive about it. I think the ones who remain, the ones who can understand, manage AI as a tool, get the right pilots to maximize the tools, but still think of the big idea, will remain and maybe charge more.
And what's your goal? Your future goal? What's what we can expect from Eduardo Maruri? In life, professional. You can combine all together.
I'm excited because I'm starting a new chapter in New York in September. So I think it's a good. Somebody said you have to live in New York at least once in your life.
So you're moving out from Miami?
I'm moving out of Miami September 1st. So that's exciting.
That's exciting.
And I'm just focusing on building Maruri for the next 4 or 5 years, and I'm enjoying it so much. And I'm meeting a lot of people and meeting people like you, and I'm excited. But I think I'm focusing on that. And in the meantime, trying to balance also my life, right? I try to have a good life. I'm at that point of my life where enjoying life is important.
Is it possible to balance work and life?
So possible. especially now. I think now somebody asked me, I was in Ibiza for 2 weeks, and then Saint-Tropez, and then in London, then Ibiza back, and then here, like, are you working? I say, yes. I'm
Could
always
work
working,
anywhere.
and I'm always on holiday.
You
So
can do
I'm
both.
always on holiday and always working. So it's the same.
It's the
There's no
same.
difference.
Yes, I
Nobody cares when
completely
you
agree.
sleep, right?
Yes. Nobody cares if you sleep. Indeed.
It's like,
Edu, I'm a big fan of yours. Like, I'm very grateful that we have met. Your story is such an inspiration. We've been talking a lot the past year, and then I'm a big fan of what you have done and what you're building now with Maruri. So thank you so much for taking the time,
Thank
for
you.
coming all the way from Miami. I know you didn't come just for the podcast, but with
But
the
let's
universe,
say we did. Let's say I
that would
did.
say you
Let's say I
did.
did.
So thank you so much, everyone, for listening to this episode. I hope you have enjoyed this amazing conversation with Eduardo. He's such an inspirational person that has done so many in his career. When you talk about creativity, he just won 160, correct is the number? Cannes Lions Awards. So what an achievement. So if you're not following us yet, make sure you do. Amazon, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and now we have our own Instagram account, so make sure you follow at Beyond Marketing Podcast. Edu, thank you so much
Thank you so
again
much.
for taking the time.
Thank
Such a
you.
pleasure to have you here.